Yes. Oh, the Aussie finally took the train to the hereafter. And the after for here. There's something to be said about a man who had that kind of lifestyle and outlived a number of people who were probably projected to live beyond him in his days. Who's the other guy that his face looks like a desert road map? He played guitar for what's his name, man? Richard, come on, guys. Leatherface.
Rick from Rolling Stones.
From Rolling Stones. Come on. I know you guys know who I'm talking about.
Richard, let me go down the alphabet. Richard A. be
Keith Richards. Thank you,
there.
Vicky.
You go, Keith Richards.
Is Leatherface still with us? Do we know if he's still with us? I remember Keith Richards was just like, you know what I'm saying? He reminded me a lot of Ozzy because they both were like heavy into the drugs. And
Wagyu said he was at his send-off. He was at Ozzy's send-off.
oh, you see? That's what I'm talking about. You got these dudes who lived one hell of a life. They lived a hell of a rock and roll lifestyle. And when I mean rock and roll, I mean that's what they were. Outliving people and shit.
And they say drugs will kill you. It did them all the favors in the world.
How old was he when he passed? That's what I don't know. How old was Ozzy when he took his train ticket?
Oh, Keith Richards played at Ozzy's final
I
concert.
just saw that.
Okay.
It's wild.
That's crazy. 76, Chrome says.
76.
Man, that's like 76 years young, if you ask me.
Yeah, doesn't that seem kind of a little early?
It kind of makes you wonder if a person took better care of their body,
Would they be around longer?
or is it just like a lottery ticket?
When you go, you go.
When it's punched, it's punched. It doesn't matter about the lifestyle. It doesn't matter about any of that. When it's time, it's time.
Doesn't matter what you have planned, what you want figured out. I like how we say things like that. Like, we still got time. We still have time to do this. Or
I wonder if Ozzy put all of his chips in. If he said, you know what? I'm all in. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to live it. I don't know the man, but
there ain't nothing wrong with that kind of a.
I kind of like to hope he said, you know what?
Yeah.
All my chips are in. I don't care. I got one life to live. I'm not going to live it by some fucking health book, health nut. He say, she say.
Bullshit standards.
I wonder if he lived the true freedom that we all strive to live. Just live. Block out all the noise. Block out the things you see on YouTube and X and all the conspiracy theories and all of the what ifs, all of the pondering about what's after life. Put all that noise aside and say, you know what? I'm just going to focus on my life and just live.
Yeah.
Drain everything I can from it. Experience anything I want to fucking experience without someone telling me it's wrong, it's right. I like to think Ozzy lived that way.
Mm-hmm. I want to live every day like it's going to be my last. I would love to live like that. I mean, I want to live like that. I'm trying to do my best to live like that. We're not like who says it? Probes. Everybody else is saying we're not promised tomorrow. Warheart. Tomorrow is not a promised thing. So what are we really putting off? We're putting off part of our lives for something that may not even come, when we should be enjoying that shit. We should be enjoying our lives, celebrating our lives every day, the good and the bad. Ozzy's death brings up a point.
Wait, hang on before you say that. Wagyu says, Ozzy never wanted to stop touring, so it's great he got to perform to the so close to the end. Yeah, for real.
And that's a beautiful thing.
What's up, Just Groove?
What's up, Groove?
What's up, Roy, George G's, Uncle Chrome, Thomas Yon, Synth Cat, War Hearts, Wagugu, Bicky, Thomas Yon.
You said that already.
Probes, Space Capsule, starting to be a regular around here. Oh, Space Capsule, you. Andy Fireblades, Musa.
Heavy Cap.
I know you listening, so.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Groove, did you check out the jam in the beginning? Can you guess what key we're in, Groove? Can you guess? Go back to the beginning and try to figure it out. Try to play along. We talked about this using our ears. You savage of a jazz musician. You're a savage.
Go ahead and make, what were you going to say about Ozzy?
Yeah, about Ozzy. It brought up to it brought up a situation today that my brother and I encountered, and it just so happens that the nerve really struck home. I'm not going to tell you who the individual is, but I think this person's story needs to be heard. I wonder out there in the info webs right here in the chat, how many people struggle with loneliness. Some of us have significant others. Some of us have a partner. Some of us have family, friends that are close. I'm just curious on how many people suffer from loneliness. You may have everything going for you, but at the end of the day, you come home and you retreat to yourself and your mind and your imagination and your self-talk.
And it runs rampant.
And it runs rampant to the core. It's deep. And there's no one there you can bounce it off of to help you check it, to self-regulate, to tell you, you don't have to think like that. That's wrong. That's false.
Yeah, you got it, Groove.
Let me show you. Let me tell you.
What's up, Traitor to the Living?
What's up, traitor? We got we have a friend, or a really close friend, who is dealing with loneliness right now.
We have more than one close friend dealing with.
Yes.
Actually, we got 3 close friends dealing with loneliness right now.
That's true. But I would, hearing somebody speak out about it out loud, I'm sure it's like a weight off their chest, right? Because somebody actually is listening and hears them, and somebody's paying attention, and they just want to express that so they can know that, they can tell somebody where they are in the current moment. And this person, he beats himself up. He's tired. He says, I'm tired and I'm just lonely.
It's funny. The woman we know says the same thing.
Isn't that weird?
Her partner passed away tragically and
says the same thing. Do you think the loneliness is just you maybe finally having maybe now finding the time that you have to deal and acknowledge yourself? You think the loneliness comes from now you have to spar with your own thought process and ego and not share that with somebody else, and you're figuring out for the first time that when you're lonely, you're kind of uncomfortable with being or knowing yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get a deeper understanding of who you are.
Maybe we take that time to reflect.
Space Capsule says sometimes all it takes is someone to actually listen.
And that's what we were today. We were actual ears today.
Half God, half Beast says loneliness can teach you a lot about yourself.
Yes, it can.
And that's the thing, Bicky. That can be a scary thing.
It can.
Sitting down and having time to reflect with yourself with no life partner filling in the blanks or trying to discover what person they're with. It's a scary thing to sit with yourself and figure out what makes you tick, what makes you happy.
Especially if you've depended on someone else to kind of distract you from yourself, right? You got someone else to feed off of. You don't spend that much time deep diving with yourself. You don't come home. I'm not saying all of you, but some of you don't come home to an empty bed. Wake up to an empty bed. It's just you, and And that's how your day goes. And this person we're talking to says that there's a lot, and I'm 100% agreeing. There's a lot of blessed people out there that are lucky to have someone to wake up with, to share some conversation with. They're blessed, but sometimes those people don't know they're blessed because they don't see the wall of the person who's lonely, and they sometimes take that shit for granted.
Space Capsule says there comes a point where one has to walk alone.
There does come that point.
Uncle Crumb says, I know folk who enjoy being alone, solo travels and activities. And there's those people that embrace it. Synthcat, grateful for all y'all. Word up. I'm telling you, Synthcat, if you look in your phone book, in your phone Rolodex, try that out for size. That was the last time you heard the Rolodex, my boy. How many people are interacting with you inside of your phone than right here, right now in this comment section? Ask yourself that.
See, and you got people like Wagyu, and maybe when I had, I'm still going through bouts of the whole loneliness thing, but I find ways to bounce back. Like Wagyu says, he says, even if I'm on my own for a while, I never really have to have the whole loneliness thing kick in. I guess I enjoy my own company too much and always have things to occupy myself with.
Dang, that's a whole nother view of it, right? That's not looking for any grief or setting yourself in a hell or tormenting yourself if there's a problem with you, or that's just being comfortable with yourself and realizing you have things to occupy yourself and you have things to discover and you have things to push you forward. Mm-hmm. It's the same things that put you in a better situation in life.
Yeah. Chrome says loneliness is extra challenging for extroverts. And Thomas Yan says, could it be loneliness causes you to be afraid to share the pain or the bad?
Ah, man. Going deep there, are we, Thomas? I mean, that's something to definitely think about. Maybe before you find someone new in your life, the universe puts you in a situation where you have to discover yourself and find out, one, how are you going to love yourself and make yourself happy before you make someone else happy?
Or before they make you happy.
Here's the reset button. Discover yourself. Don't overlook yourself. Go into that closet and fucking pull them skeletons out.
And deal with them.
Deal with them.
You got to. Otherwise, they're going to deal with you. Trader to the Living says, the older I get, I find solace in loneliness.
And then there's another aspect. It's not all doom and gloom if you're lonely, but for some people's perspective,
it's doom and gloom.
It's doom and gloom.
It's hard.
And you can't blame them because they just want a lifelong companion. Yeah. I wanted a lifelong companion and I have one.
Right.
I'm just built that way.
Heavy Cap says, I'm a social person, but also enjoy being alone. You see the diversity here, the dynamics.
I don't think loneliness should be like a doom and gloom death sentence or a position of depression. I truly believe it's an analytical thing. And you start to find out, one, is being alone for you. Two, just what exactly are you looking for? Three, now that I know myself, I'm comfortable with myself and I can be myself without another influence. Some people find solace in that.
Right. Synthcat says, I can recharge when I have a handful of good encounters every week. I've been working on being present and staying in the moment. I'm grateful, even to strangers or people I regularly see. I know when people are down, it's hard though.
Crumb said he's laughing out loud because mine came with birth. I had a partner. We came out together. Warheart says sometimes it's a mixed bag.
Yep. Facts. Yeah, Groove says the real question is being alone or feeling alone or feeling lonely. Many people don't have the capacity to be alone and not feel lonely. Think about that.
Think about that. And two, listen to me. Listen to me.
Bicky says this is a heavy topic for him. Oh, I already know, Bicky.
Listen to me, especially those who feel like they're alone. The person or persons we're speaking of, they watch this channel. They're going to watch it today, or they may be lurking in the background. And it's a huge thing they're suffering with. And I don't like to witness people suffer from any type of situation. So do me a favor, commenters. Say something to this person or persons. What would you say to them if they feel this way and they feel that there's no hope and they feel like they're not going to meet someone because, I don't know, maybe the way they look, maybe how their teeth look, maybe it's their age,
maybe it's their color,
maybe it's where they live,
maybe it's about their body shape or size.
What would you tell these people to get them out of the funk? Help us out, because we stay in contact with these people. And it's good if they hear other advice from the community.
Yeah. And right now I can tell you these people they're willing to listen. They're at the point now where they're listening, and they're not blinded by their own directional freaking fixation on what the situation is in front of them, by their own problems. The people we've been talking to today, they just they're listening. I believe that they're listening for any little wrinkle of hope to keep pushing.
Welcome in, Tone Smith.
Welcome in, Tone Smith.
I'll catch you up real quick, Tone. We just know people out there who suffer from loneliness, and it's defeating them mentally. What's one thing you can tell them to cheer them up?
And they're not far gone. Right? They're not bipolar. They even acknowledge that they have a lot of good things going for themselves, and they're grateful to be around and to be alive. But at the end of the day, they just want to share their time with someone.
That's what I did, Uncle Chrome. I met Marelyn on a social dating site. I met her when I was just completely over trusting women, because I went through some nasty, horrible things. A lot of people don't know that. I deal with some shit. I have an 11-year-old daughter out there who I've never met because the mother's hiding her from me. So I'm dealing with some shit. And they're extremely well off with money, and I don't have enough money to go to the courts and fight it. Dealing with some shit, but I don't have to deal with it alone. And it's some sad stuff if you think about it, but I can't live in that doom and gloom, that dark.
Yeah.
And it's not a mistake per se. It's just life learning lessons. I think each human is a LLM. What do you think?
It could be very well be. And Groove, I agree to those who haven't done self-discovery, self-mastery. But what if you're that person who's figured out things about himself, herself, and you've been, I don't know, 2-3 years of knowing oneself because that's the type of time you had. And then you come to this realization that I know exactly who I am and I love myself. Now, how do I go about finding someone to spend my time with? How do I share a piece of myself with someone that I would like to love and who loves me back? What do you do? What do you do if there's no opportunity out there for you, or you've told this to yourself that I've been searching, but it just seems like there's no one out there?
Yeah, Chrome. It's a hard thing to deal with when you have a kid out there and the mother hides him from the father, and the law doesn't care. The law just wants to see money coming in. They don't care about the situation. And Chrome, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of fathers out there that I've discovered on forums of all sort dealing with the same thing. I would say it's an epidemic out there, Chrome. And people use children as devices to hurt someone, and they don't think about what it does to the actual child. Oh, and Bicky saw that Weinstein interview. Yeah, what you think about that, Bicky? I just felt like that was some sort of God complex. There was no give and take in that man's mind. It was his way or the highway. But being alone sucks for those who think it sucks.
Right.
It's so subjective. It is.
It's so widespread through amongst a lot of people. Some people love to be nomads, and some people just, they don't like it.
Thomas Yan says, go to a place you love. Man, this damn heart keeps blocking. I need to look at the laptop. What does he say? Go to the place you love. Be the best of yourself. In time, they'll find you.
Yeah. Keep that positive momentum. That person is out there. You just haven't gotten to that intersection yet. They're going to meet you at the intersection. You have to believe it. You just have to believe that they're going to meet you at that intersection.
Yeah.
But know like you know, like you know.
George G's, I'm sorry you had to go through that too. But here's the good thing, George, Chrome, those of you who follow me on this. My son Dylan, we had a falling out, and my brother and I were trying to teach him how to be a man when he was living here with us in Indiana. He didn't understand it at the time because there was another voice in his head, and it was probably his mother, I'm gonna guess. But as time went on, we went to go see him graduate, and he's going off to the Navy. He's starting to have a mind of his own. Now I hear from him more times than not. He's a little chatty Cafty. And I'm thinking now he understands what was going on. I think with time, yeah, I may have missed out on my little daughter's youth for the most part. When they get older, they stop listening to the noise and they start to seek out answers to the questions. And I know you've been through it, George G's, and it sucks your brother went through that, Chrome. I know a lot of people who's going through it now, and it sucks. And it's probably one of those depressing things that loneliness feels like, because when you have a kid out there who's never met their father or mother, they feel lonely even though there's another parent there, because there's something missing. And I would imagine for a lonely person, even if they have friends who come over twice a week, 3 times a week, they still feel lonely because there's nothing validating their actual progression in life. There's a missing presence. I would like to believe that just gives them the extra motivation, the extra understanding to feel loved, to feel needed, to feel like I need to have a conversation. I'm struggling with something. There's so many things that you have to think about when a person goes through this. And we always say it here. It's not always about the jokes and music. At the end of the day, people are dealing with stuff that they're trying to escape from. So they end up using jokes or the music, or bury themselves in their TV box.
Yeah, George, you got a good point too. You want to talk about alienation. Geez, when something is spilled into a child's head from a scorned person, it just fucks them up, and you may never get that child back because for whatever reason they believe one narrative over yours, and that's what they're fed. I'm sorry you had to go through that. You haven't seen them in 12 years. It's a thing. It's a fucking thing. What about people out there who's been alienated against, their own kids been alienated against from the other partner?
That's a different loneliness.
What about mourning and grieving for your kids who are still alive, but they don't want anything to do with you, or they're upset for the moment and there's nothing you could do to change that? What about the hopelessness of not being able to change their minds because you want a relationship that you once had with them so desperately, you're willing to do anything and sacrifice anyone?
Wagyu says some people don't have hobbies or interests. I could see why they would crave constant social interaction more as an absolute necessity and the main event.
It's always said that humans are sociable creatures. It's in the human genome to always be around other humans. Right? They've done studies on it. Shit, they made movies about it. Look at Tom Hanks in Castaway. He was so lonely that he had to draw a face on a soccer ball and talk to it. Otherwise, he would lose his mind. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that series, that series show from History Channel called Alone. They do the experiment. They all have their own certain parts of this, whatever island or landscape, and they give you up to 6 months, maybe a year, to see how long you can make it for a $500,000 grand prize. Over 88% of them drop out within the first month because they get too lonely. They miss their family. They miss those who didn't have family. They just miss their friends or society.
They keep bringing up their past parents' death, or their father recently died, or
any excuse. Imagine, even if it wasn't an excuse.
They're discovering themselves. They're figuring things out. Not only do I have to survive, which you would think should keep your mind plenty busy,
occupied,
but there is that thing,
that lost connection between humanity that we so desire.
But there's a lot of people who just thrive in loneliness.
Yep.
They accept it, they chew it up, and they go out and they live their best life. There's to be lonely is, and this may sound weird, but it's a beautiful thing. You're in a very unique situation. You're just perceiving it to be something. Perception is a killer. If it works in your favor, then it's all grand and glory. But if it doesn't,
it's the end of the world.
You just created a hell for yourself. I think that's the thing. We like to create hells for ourselves. I created a hell for myself when I knew I wasn't going to see this kid again. I watched her being birthed last time I saw her. I created a hell for myself, and I lived in it. And I finally found a way to get out of it. Because time is a funny fucking thing. Because no matter how many times people can lie to you, tell you the things that they think you want to hear. Time comes around and it cures all. And it reveals the truth. And that shit can be hard for some people because the truth just comes direct. And it don't care about your emotions. It don't care about what situation you're in life. Don't care about if you're poor or rich. The truth is coming direct, live and uncut. And maybe that's what it is with loneliness too. You're having to deal with the truth. George G's, you're absolutely right. For those of you who remember a loyal follower of Monkey Island, a renegade at heart, a synth samurai super fan, George G's didn't have nothing on Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry was the actual definition of what loneliness could do to you and what finding in others could help you. And he said over and over and over again, my family, they disown me. They don't like me. I'm lonely, guys. I'm lonely. Thank you to the Synth Samurai show for saving my life. He actually said that.
Mm-hmm.
The Synth Samurai and the Renegade saved Jerry's life. And then Synth Samurai, being who he is, knows of Monkey Island, whom they talk about this stuff a lot. So I can only imagine he was like, yo, you need to go over to Monkey Island. Go find yourself some monkey wisdom. And he came over here and he fell in love with Monkey Island. And here this man all of a sudden had two families. And he loved to be a part of those two families. I mean, he was submitting music. He was involved in the chats. Then he went from Monkey Island and then he went to the pubness. We saw Jerry in the pubness. Jerry was getting out, exploring, making friends.
Even though his personal family disowned him or cast him out, as Jerry would say, he just didn't stop and just wallow too hard. He went and he reached out. But Jerry wasn't lonely at all because he had Samurai, he had us.
Apollo Hanzo.
Apollo Hanzo, number one. And if it had not been for Apollo's interview, when Apollo knew that something was off, and he brought it to everybody's attention. And then after that show, Sammy got disturbed by it. I was texting Sammy through his show, and he couldn't even focus on his own show because he was too worried about Jerry. And soon as his show was done, he texted my brother and I and said, what should I do? And
what should we do?
What should we do? And I told him, you got to do a welfare check. We have to. We were hesitant. We really didn't want to do it. Until we finally just said, no, it's not right. We need to do it. And what do friends do?
I don't think we got any sleep that night.
No sleep. What do friends do? We call the cops. And sure enough, they came back that very night and said Uncle Jerry had passed away in his chair. We may have saved Jerry from possibly harming himself, but the irony that Jerry's body eventually took him was something you could not write. I really hope Jerry didn't die of a broken heart or die from loneliness. But deep down, I'm with George. That's exactly what he passed away from. He had a broken heart. He came home to an empty apartment and he died of loneliness. He gave up.
I think it was more of what he put his body through before
no
he found
doubt.
the happiness.
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
It's the precursors before he found the happiness with the people he met online.
But they all take their toll.
It took his toll. It caught up. I don't think he knew he was going to find so much happiness. He didn't give it enough time. He didn't trust in the universe. He didn't trust in himself. He gave in to the depression of the things that were happening to him. He gave it power. He gave his, there's a thing you can do to yourself, and I call it witchcraft. You could conjure up some crazy spells with the power of etymology. You can conjure up some crazy spells and convince yourself to drink your own poison.
And the sad part is, you're convincing yourself to drink your own poison. What about that?
And I'm just reading Just Groove's comments. And it's a lot of factual things in this man's comments. It's actually scary. Shout out to Uncle Jerry, the Frog Lord.
Shout out to Uncle Jerry, the Frog Lord.
But I don't want to see any more of us renegades or monkey islanders or pub piles or hardware jammers. I don't want to see any of us lose the fight to loneliness.
Yeah, I don't want to see nobody give up on life. And I get how hard it is. Trust me, I know. But I don't want to see anybody give up because they feel like they're defeated. Who was it? Somebody said, just go, I think it was Synthcat, go somewhere fun. Get out. Go somewhere fun. There's always somebody that's going to be out there for you if that's what you're searching for. There's always someone there for you. The individual whose ideals and whose life is ran by which that they want it to be ran by. There's always something out there for you. Someone's waiting for you. For those that want to be alone, they're fine and happy because they don't have to search for anything. That's the way they see their life. But for the individuals that we're talking about, if you give up, you won't make it to the crossroad where that person is waiting for you. There's always somebody out there that's going to love you.
And then there's always I'm just going to hear what I'm going to hear. And I'm going to move past what the obvious answers are. And here's the obvious answers. Somehow you drank your own poison and you convinced yourself that that's it. I've drank the poison. My words are going to literally kill me. I'm convinced of it. And that's the big war. There's a war of the true self that's fighting desperately to get out. And then there's the war of the person, the ego, that's in charge, desperately trying to keep the real person in. And then it makes you say things like, I just don't have the fight left in me. But the fight is continuously going. You can't separate the two things that are happening here. Unless you believe in duality and then there's some higher self of you that's suppressing you in some weird way.
You know who a perfect example is? And he just walked into the building. For those of you that don't know, Crazy Wabbit lost a wife, a partner, a longtime partner. And we talked about that. How did the Wabbit survive being alone?
Welcome in, Groove Chemist. Welcome in, General Rabbit.
How did the Wabbit survive being alone after losing a partner? I don't know what that's like. I can't even begin to know what that would be like. To me, it sounds like utter fucking hell. If you're human and you have emotions, if you care, how do you pick up the pieces and not reflect on the times that you had? And how do you keep moving forward? What prompts your feet to move forward? Get your ass out of bed, fight the evil poison that's going on in your mind, and progress.
Thomas Yan said it excellent. It is truly witchcraft. Also in the way a good witch would find to break the charm.
You got to break your own charms. At some point, you're going to have to break your own charm.
I think that somebody would come along too and help break that spell.
Someone will come along and rise you up, get you up out of that hole when you most need it. And if you take the hand that's helping you, game changer. Game changer.
I've been there, though. That's the thing. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's funny is I told myself this. You might laugh at this. I said, man, look at my life. I'm 38 years old, going through a divorce, lost my home, lost my truck, lost my horse, lost my dog, living with my mother, got a mediocre job. I have 4 kids, 2 different mothers, 3 different mothers. My life is upside down. I am not getting this fucking life right. I was in a horrible fucking place. Horrible. This was just 10 years ago. Horrible place. And I remember sitting in one of my mother's rooms and I fucking sat there, evaluated myself for months. I cried like a baby. I went out to the kitchen. My mom came home for work. She looked at me. I cried in front of her. And she just looked at her son as he's perceiving to be in the worst place, in the worst spot in his entire life. And I forgot some things. I forgot some very important things about life. My mom went through the same thing. She has 3 kids by 2 different fathers. She went through a relationship where a man was whooping her ass every now and then. She went through a relationship where one of her husbands was smoking crack and getting shot at. She had to figure out a way to raise a son and then figure out how to raise 2 twin boys on her own. Then she had to figure out a way to go to nursing school to be able to have enough money to support this. And then I thought even harder about it. My father went through the same thing. He was a product of life. He went through just about the hardest time a person could go through. And he's still here. And he got back with my mother after doing some of the craziest shit he could think of, maybe at the time. And then it wasn't until I put all of it together and I said this to myself. Okay, look. If you don't want to go down this road and you really do want a life partner, let's evaluate ourselves. Let's get ourselves in the best shape as fucking possible so we can see the true reflection of ourselves. The best very rendition of ourselves. So when someone sees us, we figured out ourselves, and they can see the physical and then experience the mental. But the first thing you got to get over is how to trust a woman again, how to get back on that horse, because they're not all the same. Not all of them are out to get you. You just made some poor selections, and you've learned from this. These are all life lessons. There's something to be had from this. And if you don't take the things you learned, then what the fuck are you doing? These aren't things that were bad. These are things that are you just learned from, and you figure it out and you move on. We're all large learning models. We're just organic. And all we do is sit here and we fucking learn and we learn and we learn and we learn, and we hope not to get it wrong. And if we do get it wrong,
or we repeat, repeat,
rinse and repeat, and then we put these evil spells in our heads, and then we start to believe the bullshit we're saying, and then we forget that we're actually better than what we're saying. And then we let someone else get in our head and tell us, don't do that. You should do this. And now we're being controlled by someone else who thinks they have their life figured out. And it keeps going, and it doesn't stop until you stop, you think, and you break the fucking cycle. Self-induced witchcraft. Concocting your own potions, drinking it, and believing in it.
What's up, Samurai?
What's up, my boy?
Trader to the living. These live stream communities we find are a true blessing to me. It helped me get through rough periods of loneliness.
Uncle Crumb says, my bullshit is really just chicken shit.
Crumb just said, I gotta change perspectives. What I think my perceptives of bullshit is just merely chicken shit compared to others.
Groove Kemet, snake oil.
Goddamn snake oil.
We've convinced ourselves to drink our own snake oil.
It's fucking snake oil.
I mean, so what really is the perception of loneliness now when you sit and you have time to reflect? I mean, it's all perception. It's all perceived. The power of etymology. Someone put meaning behind words. We believe it, and so it must be true. I mean, how many of us out there really have the brain power to stop our own torture, to stop believing in our own demise, to stop believing that because I'm of this age means I'm only going to get this out of life? There's the limitation. Because I'm this color means I can only get this much of life. Because I have this much money means I only get this out of life.
And then you would drain yourself and drain everything that you once were and pour it all into your situation and seal the door behind you so you can stay in that confine where you're most comfortable.
Biggie says no one can do it by themselves. We need each other.
We need each other. Could you imagine building your own? You're going through a situation, okay? And you're in it. You give yourself to the situation. You don't want to see anything else. You bury yourself in it and you close your casket and you sit there and that's all you want because it's comfortable. And by any stretch of the imagination, that person going through it, they're comfortable. Because coming out of it is going to hurt.
And that's it, living to the trader to the living. On a lighter note, I got a brand new synth. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Can you take yourself to the dark pits
and get out
and then flip a switch?
and get out?
And I'm like, oh shit. Ooh, I was down there too fucking long. I mean, some people need help. Some people need a partner in life to do that.
Yep.
Sometimes you fucking get that rope and you jump in that rabbit hole.
I said this.
And that damn rope came loose.
I said this. I said, it's okay if you wander around in the darkness. I'm just going to be the light so you can find your way back. When you're done roaming around in the darkness, I'll be the light so you always know how to get back home. And no one's blaming that person for being in the darkness because that's their own road they have to travel. That's their life's lesson. They're living out what they are supposed to live. So we can't judge heavily on someone else's journey in this physical realm. The best thing that you could do is, like Motel 8, what does he say?
Or Motel 6?
Motel 6?
We'll leave the light on.
We'll leave the light on for you.
Chrome said, even that dude in Star Trek who had his own planet needed to build a blonde bombshell to dust and polish the knob. Word up. Somebody said people are seeking out AI as companions now. Damn, we failed ourselves as a human society to where now we can't even use the other human to help us get out of holes. Some crazy times. And I hope the people who are watching this, who I'm sure they're watching this, and I know for a fact that he or she understands why we did this today. It just has to be spoken about.
Groove says, I believe the mission is just to embrace both light and dark, not being judgmental about shit. Just experience. Don't judge. Let everybody have their life experience and don't judge. Because you don't have your shit figured out. You still got devices and vices and shit you going through that you won't even acknowledge. But you're quick fast to point your finger at somebody else as if your shit is already figured out. People got enough time dealing with their own life that they don't need to be judged by others. And Bicky is right. It's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. We're here to love each other and help each other when we're down. Who would we be if we stood idly by and not said a word? I don't operate like that. I just can't go quietly into night while somebody is destroying themselves. And I would hope the other person would do the same for me. Pick me up when I'm falling down. Because sometimes I need a hand up. Sometimes I'm not that fucking strong. Ain't that what your dad did when he taught you how to ride a bike, or your mother or whoever? You fell down and they came right to you, picked you up,
dust your pants off,
and told you, that's all right, you fell down. But guess what? You get to keep trying until you get it right. Life is like riding a bike. You're going to fall down. You got to get back up. And sometimes somebody has to help you get back up.
And I encourage these three people, one of them especially, because we just had a conversation today, but it's a total of three people. I know you guys are watching this. Just read the comment section. Go back and read the comment section. It's not all doom and gloom. You're exactly where you need to be at the exact right time. And all you got to do is pull a traitor to the living.
Traitor says you can't even appreciate light if you ain't spent a little bit of time in darkness.
Go buy yourself a synthesizer. Go hang out with the Synth Samurai. He'll convince you. Buy Fridays. Go get that synth wealth. Accumulate something that's going to make it worth your time and effort on this planet. Put your hands on a malevolent or a mantis.
Get some cheeks on that bad boy from Rourke Industries and create something. I mean, you ain't doing shit else with your life. You might as well make some music.
Get out there and create something. Put your hands on some Ian cheeks. Smell them shits.
Get out there and put an alien mask on and fucking pretend you from planet Uknak Aknar and vibe the fuck out with a fat jam.
Fattest jam you ever created.
Be like Roy Droid Void and own multiple cars. And don't probably drive none of them bitches as much as you should. Be like Chrome and go out there and rearrange some bowling balls.
And don't even bowl.
And don't even bowl. Just rearrange them from biggest to smallest, from light to dark.
Be like Tone Smith and just do trilogies. Don't even do like
one track.
One track, just do trilogies.
Isn't that what Doom does?
Be like Groove Smith or Groove Chemist. Go through some bullshit. Come out of the hospital and be like,
I'm ready to go.
Got to get back to business. It's one thing that ain't gonna fucking stop and give a fuck, and y'all know what that is. Time waits for no man, even with a slow hand. Now, it's not a whole lot of times we do this, but when people need help and they're asking for help, we'll stop our show. We'll stop everything, and we will give you the help you want. You just have to understand we're all here waiting for you.
I mean, shit, we just a little jam session. That's all we did was a little jam session.
A little jam sesh.
But
I'll
shit.
bring that bitch to a screaming halt.
What's that you say? You need help?
Who needs help out there?
Lassie, go find him. Chances are the shit I'm telling you is the same shit I need to hear. And that goes for everybody in this fucking chat, whether you're lonely or you're not. Something today was for your ass.
Maybe that's why you came in today, shit. Who knows? Maybe the universe brought you here to hear this. Maybe the topic is just pure boring and people can't stay involved long enough to hear it all the way out.
Maybe if you're honest with yourself, you took a little bit of this in and said, fuck, kind of felt like they were singling me out. Anybody got a good friend out there that'll tell you what they really think of you and your ego won't get bruised up if they were honest and told you what you were really like? Would you listen to them? If your best friend, partner, whoever it may be that knows you so well said, you're this type of individual, and sometimes I don't think you know it, but from my honest opinion, this is what you say, this is what you do, this is kind of who you are. Would you look at it? Would you be all bottled up and say, fuck you, that's not me? Shit, other way around. What if you asked one of your best friends and you asked them, you said, hey, what am I like as a person? Could you be honest with me? Sometimes I don't know because I'm not honest with myself. So I need a little bit of guidance here. What am I like as a person, huh? You got a friend that'll be truthful to you and tell you? Do you?
Are you going to be mad when you hear it? Are you going to tell that person, fuck you? That's not who I am. Well, you asked, motherfucker. Did you forget that?
Find out about that shit. Find out who you really are. If you don't want to Do the work and find out who you are by your own goddamn right. How many people have done the work to truly find out what they're made of, what they can endure?
I feel that too, Bicky.
What's patience like? What does patience feel like? What does anxiety feel like in the moment? Describe it when you're going through it. What does this feel like? What am I feeling right now? When Kent is going through his bouts of his own mental health, put yourself in his shoes. Imagine what he feels like if he can't step outside, or he'll just straight up implode. Imagine what that feels like. What is my body going through right now? Let me process this. Let me process a little something about myself. Or who's quick to dismiss it or try to hurry up and wash it away with other distractions and thoughts? Who's comfortable enough, like my brother says, to go in that closet and pull out those bad skeleton suits and try them on?
Sometimes them skeletons come out throwing blows and wanting to box a motherfucker. You might have to take one of them skeletons straight the fuck out and never put him back in the closet because he just got crazy with you. Get in there and box a skeleton. Get in there and spar with that ego monster.
Groove said, I like me some me, but it took some fucking time getting there. You see there? Some people don't even like what they saw, and they was like, I got to change this shit. Oh, now I like me some me, because I don't know what the fuck, who that was back in, I had to get in here and do some work.
The friend I called my brother kicked my ass all my life.
Roughly.
Says Thomas Yan. Says, how am I supposed to love anyone else?
Catch you later, Groove. Groove says, time waits for no man, even with the slow hand, was once my cue. I haven't really practiced today's, and I should sleep soon. So I'm going to catch y'all another time, fam. Deuces.
Just groove your ass on. I think that's what we're going to do right now for those who tuned in to hear us speak about loneliness. Play some more of this jam and cheer these people up. End this on a positive note. That sometimes it's okay to go deep, dark, baby. Swim in there with them goblin sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Stay down there for a while. Don't get it misconstrued. It's okay to stay in the dark for a while. Understand what's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
Hang out in the dark.
How can you love someone else if you don't love yourself, is what Groove is saying.
It's okay to be in the dark. It's okay to be a little bit depressed. Know what that shit feel like. Be in there. Get up in there. Be acquainted with it.
But don't stay in it.
Don't stay in that shit.
Get your ass back out of there. Got a life to live.
Got to get to moving.
Got your own life to live. What does Andy Dufresne say? Or what was it, Red? You either get busy living or you get busy dying.
Somebody thought it was a good idea to raise you to be an adult. Someone thought it was a great idea to raise you to be an adult and to have your own life. Maybe it was more than one person, but they thought it was a good idea to birth you, raise you, so you can experience this too. Don't let them down. They put in hard work for you. Trust that.
Yeah, they sacrificed a lot.
They put in some hard work for you. Sunday, we have an interview, and this person probably comes to Monkey Island with a great deal of understanding and a great deal of what the fuck am I about to get myself into?
Mm-hmm. But knowing damn well what the
Fuck he's about to get into. And this person took little convincing to come over to Monkey Island when we first met this person on Scruffy Fox.
That's a big enough hint right there. You already should know who I'm talking about. But if you don't, you'll find out Sunday.
But somebody's coming to sit down with us and talk about the damn thing. We're going to find out all about this person's life, what he's been through, what he's currently going through,
how he managed to get this far.
And why in the hell are you so goddamn lucky to be on Monkey Island? And why we're lucky to have you aboard. Never on schedule, but always on time. Tune in Sunday so you can witness the monkey business that is about to be had. Thomas Yan, I was serving this conversation. I drink your words. Space capsule. Dip. We're going to place this tune again. We're going to play this tune again for my friends who's having a hard time trying to see the light. Maybe this tune will get you there. Hop on this train. Get up out of that dark ass tunnel. Start riding that L, baby.
That L train.
You be lurking in them subways too long. You got to get on the L, baby. Get on top of the world. See it. Love, bye.
Peace.
Mm-hmm.